Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia. Let's talk books. Today I'm here to talk about books number 31 through 35 that I've read in 2023. So let's get right to it. The first, book number 31 of my 2023 reads was Body and Soul Food. This is book number one in the Books and Biscuits mystery series by Abby Collette. I really have loved Abby Colette's previous cozy mysteries. I love now that I'm finding much more diverse cozy mysteries because I used to be so in love with the cozy mysteries and but lacked that kind of diversity that I enjoy in my reading. Now that I am reading more diverse books, I've really been loving them. This one, however, kind of felt in the middle road for me. It's the first in the series, and first books in new series have a lot of work to do. They have to introduce you to the characters, they have to make you kind of want to learn more about the characters, and they have to have an interesting mystery. This one for me was really good in terms of the characters, but the mystery and the plot really kind of didn't work for me. And yet there's a lot here that makes me really interested in wanting to read more in the series. So the story follows two twin siblings, fraternal twins, who were given up for adoption when they were babies. One gets adopted, the other does not. The other ends up spending his life in foster care. They have now reunited as adults, and they are working together to open up a bookstore and soul food restaurant combination. And that aspect I really, really loved. I think that the two twin siblings have such interesting personalities with two different lived experiences, but because they're still twins, and twins are getting to know each other, there's a lot there to explore, and I kind of really enjoyed those aspects. On the other hand, the mystery involves a close friend of one of the twins, and that felt like there was a lot of red herrings in this one, and that it just didn't work for me. I guess it comes down to it. I felt like there was something disjointed there. I also tend to not enjoy when the people that are trying to solve the mystery fight, like trying to solve the mystery, but that happens a lot in first books and series, so that's just is what it is. So there was enough here that I want to read more, but this was not my favorite cozy mystery. Book number 32 that I've read was Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. I've never watched the movie, though. I think now I do want to watch the movie. And I actually don't have a ton to say about this book because I have read a lot of other books on mental health and about being institutionalized. The book starts with uh, uh, our main female character telling us that she is in a mental institution and how that occurs, and then her experiences at this mental institution. And as I was reading it, I enjoyed it. It's a really, really fast read, so I think you don't lose anything in trying to read this book. On the other hand, I feel like I don't remember very much of this. Like, it didn't have as much impact on the mental hospital experience as other books have had, and it's not because it's not dramatic. There's still a lot of drama in this book, but I just like the impressions that are left in my mind about mental health institutions and the good and the bad aspects of them really come from other books, including like the first book I really read with these themes was Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar, and I'm now starting to reread it because it was really the first book that left such a strong impression on me on the topic of mental health. And so Girl Interrupted to me just didn't quite compare to that or to more recent like biographical books I've read on the topics of mental health. So do with that what you will. Next book I read was After the Storm. This is book number 7 in the Kate Burkholder series by Linda Castillo. You might have noticed that I think I have now several videos in a row where I've discussed one of the Kate Burkholder books because I'm trying to get through the series, and also because I bought a lot of these books in the physical copy, decide whether I want to keep them or unhaul them. And mostly what I'm seeing with this series is that unhauling is probably works best for me, not because I don't like this series. In the series you follow this Kate Burkholder, who is the chief of police in a rural Ohio town that has a mixture of Amish and non-Amish people, and she's formerly Amish, and so a lot of her job is trying to build bridges amongst communities, even though as somebody who was excommunicated essentially from the Amish community, that presents a lot of challenges in terms of like getting the members of the Amish community to trust her. And you see that a lot in book number 7, because there is a tornado, there's devastation, and the remains of somebody are uncovered, and so there's the mystery. I didn't find the mystery particularly compelling in this one, and I thought that the conflict between Kate and her significant other in this book was a bit contrived. Yeah, like I felt like this is clearly going to be an ongoing issue, and I'm not sure that I believe that these two characters would really continue having these issues. So there we go. I enjoy the series though, so I will continue it. The next book that I finished was The Consequences by Manuel Muños. Now this book, this is a compilation of short stories written by Muños. The first couple of stories, I had to read the first one, take a pause for a few days, and then come back to the second story. Take a few more days, pause, because those first 2 stories were really heavy for me. They deal with immigrant communities and the kind of like hardships they experience. Because it's a short story format though, I feel like those first 2 stories dealt with something specific, with beginning and end, and really high impact, and were difficult for me to read as an immigrant, but I think they're really worth it. There were a few stories in the middle there that I didn't find quite as impactful or as meaningful, but then this is a collection of stories, so that's bound to happen. You're bound to have some that are stronger than others. And so there was this like ebb and flow of at the start and at the end of the collection. I found really strong stories, and then a handful of stories in the middle that I just didn't find particularly compelling. But I think it is still really well worth it. Most of the stories take place in the California's Central Valley. A lot of them are from the perspective of women and children. From queer characters, from characters that are just really interesting, and I think you get really a nice view of the different kinds of issues that come up, and in a complex view. Like, it's not all about look at how like abused these communities are. No, it's these stories look at these people like they are human beings with complexity, with goodness, with badness, with all of those things in there, and I really enjoyed that in this book. So I do recommend that you pick up this book, especially if you really enjoy short stories. And then book number 35 was Elatsoe by Darcie Little Badger. And this is a middle grade book following an indigenous child in a kind of, in a world that is very similar to ours, but not quite ours. In this world, kind of the magic of the world is acknowledged. There are vampires, there's magic in this world, and seeing it through the eyes of a child was really great. I love this book. It apparently uses Native American mythology to kind of take us through the story. The author is indigenous, so this is an own story, and I really enjoyed it. It is a murder mystery. When we start the story, Elatsoe, which is our main character, gets the feeling that something's wrong. Something very wrong has happened, and it turns out that her cousin is dead, and that and her parents listened to her. This is one of the things I really enjoyed about this book. This is not just like a child with a big imagination and really smart and who adults are not present in her life. No, her parents are very present in her life. They very much realize how special she is and the kind of potential that her powers have, and they are taking care of her and nurturing her inquisitiveness. They, when she says something, they take it seriously, and I really really loved that. She's also a child though that like gets herself into trouble sometimes because she's a child, but it all felt really rather realistic, even within the confines of this world. um and I really really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the murder mystery, the way the bad guys are kind of discussed, how they come up, the larger themes about responsibility and colonialism, about family and community. I really enjoyed everything about this book. And I'm like, it could be a series. It could be a series because there's so much potential here. I just like wanted to learn more about Elatsoe and like follow her journey through life. So I've just really adored this book. It is fantastic. And if you don't read middle grade and you're an adult, you are totally sleeping on middle grade books because there is so much heart and so much also just brilliant, intelligent writing in a lot of these books. So I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm so glad that I finally got to it. So that is it. Those are all the those are books numbers 31 through 35 that I have read in 2023. If you read any of them, if you're interested in them, let me know down below. If you read middle grade and have other recommendations for me, also let me know. I'm slowly building a TBR within the middle grade genre. I still I have quite a list already, but you know, I'm always willing to add books to my TBR. So if you have recommendations, please give them all to me. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.